Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Vamily Show, the very awesome family show, season 2, episode 26. And today with me, I have Gino Toole, your scholarship strategist and author. And I kind of want to know before we get into that, um, what like the young Jean back in high school before she got into college and all that kind of stuff. Was this something that you were always interested in doing author, or was somebody read some of your stuff and was like, man, that's really interesting stuff that you've written down and I kind of would like more, and that kind of led into it?
I love that question. And Bob, I just want to say I'm so honored to be here. I love your show. Thank you so much for having me on. And already I know that today and together we're going to help some people,
Yeah.
find some money to go for college. And so that's really great. So it's really interesting, how life works,
Mhm.
right? And how we all find ourselves in different positions. And no, it absolutely, this was never on my radar when I was an undergraduate student. Uh, but when I finished college, I was actually in a position, I was traveling around the country working with this organization called Making It Count. And an awesome organization that was really helping to empower young people, high school students, college students, kind of like map out different strategies for internships, time management, stuff like that. And I had a lot of conversations. And I'm sure that, just in the position that you're in, right, doing your show and all of the conversations you've had now all across the country, when you start to have conversations, sometimes there's themes that
Mhm.
emerge, right? And I will tell you, having all of these great conversations with all of these students, they would share with me their goals, and they would also though share their concern for the rising cost of college. How are they going to make this happen? The burden they felt they were putting on their family. And I got to tell you, it so resonated with me. I was the first person in my family to go to college.
Mhm.
And we didn't, I remember those last couple of years of high school. We were doing the scramble, right? And a lot of families have that goal, that dream, that vision about college for their son or daughter, and then graduation is on the horizon, and there's the scramble of how are we going to make this work. And so, those conversations, Bob, they just made me start digging in and diving into research to
Mhm.
figure out, it really made me ask, like, there's got to be a different way, right? Than just taking on student loan debt for
Yeah.
the majority of us, right? Who maybe our families don't qualify for need-based aid, but the cost of college education was requiring us to take out massive student loans, right?
Right.
So there had to be a different way. I made
Right.
it a mission. I'm going to find that way. And that became a program that I started now over 10 years ago. We've now helped thousands of students start what I call money missions for their education and their life. And I'm really excited. We've helped students win up to $200,000 for scholarships.
Wow. And I just put it on the screen there, connections101.com. If they go there, they can get all the information for all that stuff. And wanted to say I think it's great what you're doing, because I try to tell people all the time, like, if you can avoid as much debt as possible, that gives you a lot of freedom in life, and you can be free to follow your passions more than money. And
Mm.
that's worth a lot more than the money in the end. There's a lot of people that have made a lot of money that aren't very happy. So finding those scholarships and having people be able to do that and then not have to be tied, they can follow that passion of whatever they learned in school and not be tied to worried about paying that payment back. And like you're saying, it's crazy how much it costs now to go to college. I mean, some people are, you're saying what person 200,000 and scholarships, but there's a lot of people that pay 100, $200,000, and it's not necessarily any specialty position anymore. It's not like it's a doctor or a lawyer. That can just be you're going to school for 4 years.
You are absolutely right. And, we know how valuable a college education is. However, you're so spot on. You're really landing it. And I just want to, just reiterate this for all of you, listening out there, all of you watching this, yeah, what if you could remove that burden, that financial obstacle of having to take over a lot of student loan payments and debt once you have finished college, right? Like, what if, just think about the type of impact that would have on our communities, on our country, on the world, if people were able to just focus on their goal and literally start living that particular goal, right? What I really try to do for all these students and families is help them tap into the resources of private scholarships. And Bob, that's what I'm an expert in. Private scholarships are monies from companies,
Right.
monies from, foundations, monies from organizations, even individuals. These are scholarships that are not attached to a specific college or a specific university. And the really cool thing is that these are monies that when you win them, you can use them at any college you're going to, or better yet, some of these scholarships are literally going to, just send you that check in the mail. If you happen to be the recipient, use it for other type of educational expenses that you have. You want to travel abroad, you need a new laptop or some new technology for, this goal, this dream that you're working on, do it. It's
Right.
really amazing what's available out there.
Right. And with and I think, that's some resources that definitely weren't there when I was getting out of school as far as anywhere that they were put together. I mean, there was a few that you knew of, maybe like the Kiwanis Club or something like that you had heard of, but not really a bunch of other ones. And so it seemed like, whichever kids had the connections, that knew about it, they're the ones that got them, and it was largely left unknown to most people. So it's a really cool resource that you put together. And how has, because you would think, oh, they would maybe drop the price since you're not having classes in person in college, but it's probably the same price right now. And
It is. I know. It's a really good point you're bringing up. I know, during this time of COVID, right? We have so many schools that have gone online, and or are doing some sort of hybrid, maybe a couple of classes in person, but mostly online. And you'd think that would impact the tuition, and unfortunately, it's not. But this also means that there is an opportunity for students, regardless of how old you are. If you are that student who is doing your classes online, guess what? Just maybe tack on just a few extra minutes, maybe a half hour, 3 times a week, to commit to being at that computer and using some of the strategies that we recommend. In fact, I have a totally free how to get started guide, how to start finding scholarships at our website. I love that you have it up here on the screen. Go to Connections 101 and start, digging in so that way you can start going for this money. It's out there. And just because there's a pandemic doesn't mean these scholarships are not still happening.
Right. And when you, for any people out there that have maybe younger kids in high school too, when should they, should it be junior year that you start applying? Like, when should you start applying for the scholarships?
Okay, this is probably going to be new news for a lot of people out there. So this is the one piece of news that I encourage you, anyone who is tuning in, share this one piece of information that I'm about to give to you, because it can transform your entire extended family. Ready for this? There are private scholarships, like real money in, ranging anywhere from maybe, sure, maybe like, from a hand, $500 up to literally tens of thousands of dollars for kids as young as 5 and 6 years old and in kindergarten, and
Wow.
all the way through, K through 12. So elementary school, middle school scholarships when you're in high school. Once you have graduated from high school, there's scholarships if you are at that trade school, that undergrad, the community college. If you are that person wanting to go back for your graduate degree, getting that master's degree, there's scholarships just for you. Scholarships for med school, law school. I mean, you name it. And literally, Bob, check this out. My team and I, we actually came across a scholarship where you had to be over the age of 65 in order to qualify.
Whoa.
So this is the difference. Okay. And again, what are we talking about? We're talking about private scholarships. These are not from colleges. They're from companies, organizations, and they might be literally choosing to design a scholarship for younger students because it aligns with their mission. It aligns with their goal. I'll give you an example. There's a scholarship that is called the Angela Award. It is $1,000 scholarship, and it is only open to female students in grades 5 through 8. That's it.
Wow.
Grades 5 through 8, young female students in middle school who have an interest in science. Now, that's an organization. Again, this scholarship is called the Angela Award. If you Google it, you'll find it for sure. If you can't find it, reach out to me. My team will send it to you. But what's great is that they've made the decision, and any entrepreneur, any company out there, you could make the same decision, right? Mm-hmm. That you could create a private scholarship if you wanted to, that can be an extension of your organizational mission or brand. Really, really exciting. And so, yeah, definitely never too early to start looking for scholarships.
Right. That's amazing. Or I guess too late either when you mentioned the one that's for over 65.
Yeah, I mean, literally, there's actually also scholarships where you have to be over the age of 30. There's scholarships that are just for moms, just for dads. So, and I will say, I'm going to stand in some truth and say that is the one piece of information I wish I had known. Mm-hmm. You were talking about, you had mentioned, some students who seem to get some scholarship opportunities because they were in the know. Mm-hmm. I wish that my family, again, I was the first person in my family to go to college. I wish I had known that the window of opportunity to apply for these monies that are out there, that it doesn't end with a high school diploma. Sure. And that means, right? That means anyone who's out there, who's maybe currently in college, and maybe, you even were offered, a portion, a scholarship, that takes care of a portion of your education, maybe from your college or your university. Maybe you even got a couple of private scholarships, but it wasn't enough. For so many families, Bob, it's not enough. And just like my family, we had to sit down and sign our name to some student loans. Yeah. What that student can do is every semester that they're in college, I mean, literally every semester that they're in college, they can continue to just set aside that little bit of time, little bit of energy, keep printing it out, filling it out, sending it out, and keep applying for opportunities. And if they win additional monies, pay off any student loan that they might have in advance. So Right. They potentially can walk off these college campuses with the degree and zero student loan debt.
Yeah,
we can do that.
Which is huge for sure.
Yeah.
And so putting together the book then was because you're like, I don't want anybody else to having that empathy to not have to put anybody else through that experience of not knowing.
Yeah.
And has there been anybody that you met since you started doing this, like anybody that does the scholarships that you, like the story that they told you, like you were actually even happier that you're helping people find the scholarship because they enjoy giving the scholarship out?
There are so many stories, and we hear from families all the time who have won scholarships, and they want to reach out about, how that's impacted them. But there's definitely a story that has stayed with me. And, I'll tell you, this book, the book, Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money You Need. This all only happened because I've been doing workshops in schools, in high schools, and with parent associations and college campuses. I've been doing this for so many years that, at the end of the day, there's only so many days in a week. I can only travel so many miles, and know that, right? And I was like, all right, I gotta put the nuggets of information into this book, so that way more people can be helped, because that's what I'm about. I want to help. I just want to empower people with the information, right? I'm a super fan of all guidance counselors, and I think they're doing an awesome job, but there's more. There's so much more. And if families can just be empowered with the information, they can take action. But I'll tell you this great story. So this goes back definitely over 10 years ago, when I had just started doing I was workshopping, essentially what became the book, right? But it was a high school assembly, and I was in a huge high school in New York City. And I was in an auditorium. I had about 500 high school seniors in the room, and I wrap up my talk. I did my whole program, and I was heading out to my car on my way to another high school, which has been my life for a lot of years. And this young lady stopped me in the hall, and she says, "Jean, I got to talk to you. I really need some help for finding this money for college." And I said, "Right on. Okay, cool. Were you in the auditorium? Did you happen to catch the program?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "But what I understand, from what I heard from you, is that I need to set aside a little bit of time to actually do this. And I just don't have that time." Right. And Bob, you and I, getting to know each other even right now, like, let me tell you, I'm a really just direct person. So I said, "Oh, so you're telling me you're busy," right? Like I asked the girl, "You're telling me you're busy?" And she says, "Yes." I said, "We're all busy. Every one of us is busy. I mean, we all have so many things going on, right? And life gets busy." I said, "How important is the money to you?" And she said, "No, you don't get it." She said, I'm busier than most students. And this is why I'll never forget this story. And she says, "My mom recently just lost her job, and I had to pick up some extra shifts at my own job just so we could take care of the bills at our apartment this month." She said, "To be honest with you, I'm barely keeping my head above water right now at my high school. I'm doing whatever I can do just to make sure I can graduate. And at the end of last year, at the end of my junior year, I had a baby son. So let me tell you, I'm busy." I said, "Okay, I hear you." I said, "Can you find, an hour a week?" She said, "Not a chance." I said, "Let's start then with 10 minutes. Pick 10 minutes 3 times during your week. Let's start there. Start." And this is what I encourage every family out there who's tuning in. Start with what you know is possible. Start with what you know is possible. Okay. So I said 10 minutes, 3 times of your week. I knew she couldn't say no to that. I said, but choose, because I really, truly believe, Bob, that choice is the most powerful thing that we own. So let's give that ownership to that young person. I'm going to give that ownership to her right then and there. And she said, okay. So she picked Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, she made the decision, right, to show up at her high school either 10 minutes early or stay 10 minutes late. She'd get on a computer at her school. She'd use the strategies that we had talked about in my program. And she was printing them out, filling them out, signing them out. She recognized the truth that there's no cap on scholarships, but it's a numbers game, and she's probably not going to win most of them. Yeah. I met her October of her senior year. By the time she was wrapping up that senior year, in that duration between October and June of her graduation, she had applied for almost 200 scholarships. Now this girl, she did not win half of them. She did not win even 3/4 of them. This girl was not by any measure a top student at her school, but she still won a roughly $80,000.
Wow.
which was more than what she needed to go to the college she was planning on going to. So, Bob, she was able to make a phone call. And it's when she made that phone call and I heard about this that I said, this is the work I have to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
She made this phone call to the college she was going to be going to. She was able to say, thank you so much for accepting me. I'm calling to tell you I will be paying in full. Then she
Wow.
used the remaining money to pay for childcare for her son while she was going to college. At the end of the day, these opportunities are there. Somebody is going to win them. And it absolutely could be you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to take action and say and step over the line to say, you know what? I'm gonna try. I'm going to try for these opportunities. And there
Yeah.
are definitely scholarships that have a higher percentage of winning than others. And I mean, that's one of the things I talk about. Like, it's not just, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. There is a strategic approach to this. And if you follow this, it can be easy, it can be simple, it can be focused, and it doesn't have to be, a big chunk of your life.
Right. Right. And just knowing the strategies, like it could be a certain time of year that it's best to submit to a certain scholarships and others, and that kind of thing, or who you should send it to. And you help people with that, and not just in the book, but you do like consultations if people want as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. We do. I do. My team and I, we do one-on-one, what we call scholarship jumpstart sessions with not just with the student, but we do this. We do it with their entire family. I call it their support team, right?
Right. Right.
So that way we can kind of map out their action. But I'm going to give everybody right now like a really great strategy that no matter where you are in your education process, like this is one that please run with just this, and you are already going to have a major advantage over anybody else in the scholarship game. And that's this: use what I call ready to go material. So ready to go material would be all of the stuff that you have already put time and energy on, or time and energy into, maybe for assignments or clubs or projects you've done in the past several years that you can get your hands on. Example: papers, projects, essays, poems. See, people have it in their head, Bob, that every scholarship that they apply to has to relate to their goal. Who came up with that? Right?
It seems like you make up in your mind.
Yeah, everybody is convinced of that. So let's just get that out, okay?
Right.
Let's say somebody wants to pursue a plan. Their life's plan is to be an engineer. Well, guess what? They probably, like every other American student, and I'm sure students even internationally, I've spoken with a lot of schools and groups internationally, they've had to write a poem at some point during their educational years. Dig out the poem. There's tons of poetry scholarships out there. You've already written it. And let's take that one poem, apply to all the tons of, let's just say, poetry scholarships out there. The monies that you win from that pay for the engineering degree.
Right.
So using what you have as ready to go material you have, something that you don't have to recreate, something that's already done. Let's find a private scholarship connected to that. You'd be surprised at the amount of opportunities that are out there. And you're not having to spend any extra time, and you can actually collect money on stuff you've already done.
Right. Right. That's incredible. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that. Poetry scholarship is, you're going to engineering degree and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really, yeah, just one of the things you wouldn't think about. So you putting together this book is, probably more than just that one story. There's probably numerous stories where you've helped people out, and that's probably you wanted to help people out, but it probably feels better to you than you thought it was going to when you started it.
Oh my gosh, it keeps me going. And, just like the work that you do here on this show, and, really, connecting people to information that is transformative for their life. I really believe in that. And And if I can help families change their situation, literally change the story for their family about what that college cost will mean for the family, let's change the whole story, right?
Sure.
Because of helping them take care of take advantage of these opportunities, then I feel like I'm living in alignment with what I'm supposed to do, and
Yeah.
I just got we just heard from another family recently. They're out in the Southwest. I think they're from Arizona, and they had reached out to us to let us know that, just in this past academic year, they had a daughter who was graduating from high school. She took the information from my book, just ran with it. She won over $130,000, and the mom was reaching out to me, not just to tell me about the daughter's success, but that the mom was reaching out to me actually to let me know that her two young sons who are in elementary school, they're starting on their scholarship process. Okay. And yeah, and that is so exciting to me. I mean, that is so exciting to me because, not only is it impacting and shifting what is possible for one member of that family, but now, right, this is going to have, this resonates into other members of the family. And that's the one thing that I encourage anyone who is tuning in. Share this information. Let families know that they can and should start early. Scholarships, by the way, for younger students, the question that I get all the time, they're like, what, how is that money actually given to, a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old? And how does that actually work? So, and it's a really important, valid question. So let's put that out right now. So first off, scholarships that are $1,000 or more. Okay. And again, there's scholarships for younger students that can be in the tens of thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. Usually those scholarships are awarded in the form of a bond that will mature when that student turns 18. Okay. So a lot of times that's how those scholarships will be awarded. But other scholarships that might be under $1,000 are usually awarded just as a check that is sent to the family. So that means that, a family, of that fifth grader, of that, sixth grader, the third grader, if that check is coming to you, you have those options, right? Again, it's your choice. You can either save, invest, or use that money for an educational expense you have now. Maybe your son or daughter, has the potential in the arts or in technology or math, or, let them go to a camp that maybe was going to otherwise not be something that the family could afford, right? Use those educational expenses to help literally open up that dream for that young person.
Yeah. And I would say opening up the dream is probably a good way to put it. And the book where you can find a lot of this, all this information and all the strategies is scholarship strategies, finding and winning the money you need. And that's what we've been talking about. And yeah, that's I mean, that probably feels kind of amazing too, to see your name on a book that you wrote.
I was pretty stoked. Yeah.
But there's probably some kids that are kind of wise enough to go, well, I don't want to get in debt. They might not even think about going to school too, because they don't want to even go there. And so one of the things I say, since this has started taking off, is I have the freedom to dream, just even the ability to say, well, wouldn't that be nice if that happened? Because a lot of times in life, especially, if you don't have the means, you don't even think to dream some of that stuff. And that was, and for you being, the first to go to college in your family, you probably experienced a lot of that when you were first starting out. Like, I don't dream that any of this is possible, because I haven't seen it happen.
Sure. I mean, I don't think at any stage of our life we ever can fully understand what we are capable of, right? And what is available to us. And it's only as we keep taking a step, one step in front of another, that we can get curious about opportunities that are available, right? And just staying awake to the opportunities that are there. That's part of this whole process, with scholarships. I mean, I wish that there was one central location where all these scholarships were, and then none of us would have the burden of being part of the $1.6 trillion of student loan debt that's being held by people in this country. Unfortunately, opportunities are posted in many different ways. And because it just feels so overwhelming, and for most people, they don't know where to start, right? Isn't that at the end of the day what keeps a lot of people from going to the next level of their life? Yeah. I don't know how to start. I don't know where to start, and it feels really overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we can start with what is available, what's attainable, and we start small steps, and then it's amazing what expands. Yeah.
Well, probably a lot. You probably see a lot too, is kids applying or not wanting to apply because they're afraid of rejection too. Like that gets ingrained in a lot of people too. They're just afraid of people saying no, and it's like,
sure,
you kind of have to get past that too.
Yeah, you know what? We actually did a before let's say before COVID, right? Before the world changed.
Back in the good old days.
Back in the good old. Remember that? And I was actually in on site at high schools instead of doing virtual stuff. I had I did a massive research project at numerous schools during an academic year, asking the simple question to students: why don't more students pursue scholarships? Like, I want to know, like, why, just stand in your truth and let me know. And I will tell you that the answer that we received more than any other answer was that students felt that they weren't good enough to win.
Wow.
And
that's kind of heartbreaking too when you think about it.
Yeah. That, so there was a belief that they had, that it can't be me. Right. Yeah. So, and I will tell you that knowing, I mean, my team and we sensed that this was under the surface, but seeing then the data about that, really aligned with the question that I get often from parents, the mothers and the fathers who reach out to us and they say, how do I get my kid to do this? Right. Mm-hmm. So here's how we break the belief that I can't win, and we help that parent encourage their son or daughter. What we recommend is showing students real numbers of scholarships, the numbers of people who have actually applied. So students have it in their head that I'm not going to win, right? This is a national scholarship. It's open to students. There's 16 million high school students in the United States. Why am I going to waste my time, right? And already convinced I'm going to waste my time and apply. Well, when you actually take a look at numbers of, and many scholarships will release their data on how many people applied last year. Mm-hmm. And you can actually show to a student, well, last year, 16 million people applied, and actually or they could have applied, and actually only 50 people, filled out applications, and they gave it to 20 of them. You start seeing that the odds are in your favor if you just choose to get in this game.
Right.
My husband and I, we were not blessed with kids, but my husband is, he is a educator. He's a teacher. I do this work. So we are, we're advocates for young people, designing their life. And when we moved to our current community, I said, you know what? I said, I want to put together scholarships for students in our community. Let's do it. Which anybody can, by the way. I mean, anybody can. And we did some big fundraisers. Started with a big, massive rummage sale, literally we organized in our town. And it's grown over the past years to now raising tens of thousands, literally raising thousands of dollars. And I will tell you, last year, we were able to give away 8 scholarships because of our fundraising efforts. Out of those 8 scholarships that we had created, Bob, one of them, nobody applied.
Wow.
Two of those 8 scholarships, I only had 2 applicants for each of them. And in one of those cases, neither one of the applicants actually met the criteria, but my committee and I still had to choose somebody. This year, we actually, out of our entire community, we actually only had 2 applicants who had actually applied for scholarships this year. How about that? Okay.
Wow.
And one of those people did not meet the criteria at all. So there was not even a decision amongst the committee. We only had one person who had actually met the criteria. So this is the message to anyone out there who is listening. You really should pursue and just explore these private scholarship opportunities out there. Mm-hmm. The more local a scholarship is, the fewer the applications there are going to be. You're not competing against people even in your next town, never mind your next state. But really, there's not as many people going for these opportunities as you think that there are. Right. So if you pursue them, you at least have that chance, and we can help you kind of navigate to see which ones you have the best chances of winning.
Yeah. When you put it that way, like, because all kids are thinking, well, all the other kids in the country are going to apply for the same one. So, and that thought process, that's a killer. And we were talking before, and you were saying, and Papa Drew's he tells his kids no cake unless they do their homework. Some people out there, we were talking before, and you were going to offer a thing for people that watch this show to help them get scholarships. So if you want to tell them.
I mean, I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be on the show. I love what you're doing. And we want to do something for anyone who is tuned in, who's tuning in to catch this show. So first, for sure, make sure that you have liked and you're following the Vamily show, right? Yeah. Bob's doing some great work in the world. But if you pop us an email to our team, and that email would be scholarshipstrategiesteam@gmail.com. Again, scholarshipstrategiesteam@gmail.com. And you just put in the word. You can email us the word in the subject line or in the email the word Vamily. Okay. Anybody who sends us that email with the word Vamily will absolutely get a free 1 month ongoing scholarship support access with myself and my team. Which will give you we send out weekly scholarship alerts about scholarships that are coming up. We send out weekly tips, tools, strategies. We also have a members only Q&A that you get access to me for during the week, and we send out different video lessons during the week as well. So anyone who's out there who sends us the word Vamily to Scholarship Strategies Team at Gmail, and I love that it's already in the box. It's so great, Bob. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We want to help you, because we want to empower families to be able to change the situation for themselves. And we're happy to do that with your community.
Yep, that's awesome, and I appreciate it so much. And I know there's some parents in here, there's grandparents in here, and all. And like you said, it's a big support team that if you can get everybody working together, be more successful at getting scholarships for kids, and even like we talked about earlier, even grandma with one of the ones that are over 65, she can go back to school with the granddaughter at the same time. Keep an eye on her.
I know. How awesome is that, right? How awesome is that? It could be a family affair. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, for sure. And I want to say thank you for being here today. And like you said, scholarship strategies team at gmail.com with Vamily for that, connections101.com. And the book, again, is Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money You Need. And Gino Toole, thank you for being here with us today. And next time you have anything come out, or if you want to come back like next year around this time and talk about it, since kids are going back to school and senior year stuff starts, definitely better be starting when you start senior year for sure. So thank you for being on.
Love that. I would love that, love that, love that. And, and we do want to let, folks know that, we have tons of free resources, including lots of scholarship websites that you can already start, going after some money today. Just go to Connections 101 and yeah, just go get this money. Like, it's there. Go get the money.
Yeah. It's like that old, guy on those commercials for the government money that would wear the money sign. He's like, it's free money. It's there. It's kind of like that. But you don't have to go to the government for this. You just go to private entities for sure. So
yeah.
And so until next time, guys, stop waiting for life to happen and make life happen. You can make it happen by going to that website and getting a scholarship. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for being on.